back to the bonus episode, and we are joined again by Isabelle. So today's question is, if someone is trying to conceive and feeling overwhelmed by fertility advice online, what are the top 3 things that genuinely make the biggest difference in your opinion?
So I think the 3 biggest things would be, you know, okay, try and balance your blood sugar levels. So eat regularly. Eat regularly, try and eat whole, eat regularly as much as you can. Drink enough water,
Yeah.
and take a good multivitamin. I mean, really, it could be as simple as that. Of course, it's so not simple, and it should be so much more than that. And that's not enough, I'll be honest with you. But those are the 3 things, because people worry about, which test. Should they be peeing on sticks from, the day after they finished their period, or, all these pee sticks and things, that's really what most people do, or they worry about how long their cycle is. They worry all of these things that actually, just add more stress, because they're not particularly accurate. In all honesty, it doesn't really give you, and I think in the end it can actually create real problems. So and then they worry.
That's interesting you say that, Isabelle, because Portia's been hounding me to get on the ovulation sticks.
It's a difficult one. I'll tell you what it's useful for. It's useful to the ovulation sticks, obviously they tell you if you've got an LH surge, but that doesn't necessarily mean you ovulate. Actually, it's not 100% guarantee that you're ovulating. What it does do is that it will give you a rough idea of when you ovulate, because everybody ovulates. We usually says so menopausal, although not me, but but one ovulates at different times of the month. And even if let's say you've both got a 28-day cycle, you may not both ovulate at the same time, just because you've got the same length cycle. So it might give you, and people are surprised, sometimes they ovulate earlier than they thought, or later. And so it can give you a rough idea of when you ovulate. Some people know by their cervical mucus, or they can feel it and all of that kind of thing. Although once you've ovulated, your window of opportunity is pretty small. So really it's before the ovulation, but it gives you a rough idea. But if you do it month after month after month, it becomes an addiction, and it becomes a really negative addiction. And actually, it's also, it becomes very sort of a lot of stress, very formulaic, sort of, it's sort of bish bash bosh, type thing. It's not great.
Yeah, I get that. Well, thank you. Well, the myth we'd like to bust this week is, and this is actually one close to my heart as well, green tea and matcha should be avoided when trying to conceive. And we say this because when I was going through IVF, the first time, I went to an acupuncturist, and I was really proud of myself, and I said, I have cut out coffee, it's great, like I'm really good, and then I just have a green tea a day. And she shamed me for having that green tea, and she said,
Why?
Well, she said it's good. You do know that green tea has a lot of caffeine in, don't you? Were her words. And then I felt panicky, because I thought I've been drinking green tea this whole time.
Trying to be healthy.
Cut out the coffee, because I was a 2 coffee a girl kind of, 2 coffee a day kind of girl. So I was really proud of myself that I'd cut the coffee out completely and then gone to green tea. So yeah.
Nobody should do that. And I have to say, one has to be very sensitive, and that was pretty insensitive.
Needless to say, I didn't go back.
Good selling point. There you go. That how to build a business. But no, look. Yes, so caffeine, there is study done that both male and female preconceptual caffeine consumption, it's linked with miscarriage, i.e. it can damage reproductive cells, so one has to be careful. And again, we all know people who mainline tea and coffee and pop out 5 kids, so we all, so, but when that's not the point. The point is looking at what you should do. I am not a fan, as you know, of cutting everything out completely, because we talked about a bit earlier on. I think that if you cut everything out, it's too stressful, and you've got to have a bit of joy. It becomes very joyless, this. And so even 1 coffee a day, I think, is fine. But green tea, the benefits of green tea is that it's rich in antioxidants. Actually, the caffeine content is lower than a normal black cup of tea. What a green tea does contain is a compound called EGCG, which in high doses is thought maybe to inhibit folate absorption. So if you were drinking 8 cups of green tea a day, even if they were decaf, by the way, that might not be ideal. And the same with matcha, by the way. So matcha is rich in antioxidants. Matcha, it depends how strong you make it. It can be as high in caffeine as coffee, depending on which matcha you've got, but it's rich in antioxidants. It is generally less caffeine. And again, I think it's just moderation. And I think it's really important not to cut everything out. What are you going to do? Just sit there sort of sipping on a bit of tepid water all day, you know?
I know.
You know, it's completely soul destroying. You've got to have something. You've got to have something decent. So enjoy your green tea. I really wouldn't worry about that. But it's interesting. I saw somebody the other day whose husband had cut down the coffee, but he was drinking 6 cups of green tea a day. And it was like, I think that maybe you probably need to cut it down because of this. If it's going to inhibit your folate absorption, then that isn't so good. And we don't know how much, you know. So again, but I would say 1 or 2 cups of green tea a day, not a problem.
Thank you.
I drink decaf green tea. I've replaced my Diet Coke with a decaf green tea.
Yeah.
And then I tend to find at 3 o'clock, if I start getting a bit like I want some sugar, I do have my matcha with my Jersey milk. And I'm very much enjoying that at the minute. Okay. So not every day, but if I'm like get to 3 o'clock and I think, I will have a matcha.
And you don't find that affects your sleep? Because I feel I can't drink caffeine after 2.
Could probably have one and then go straight to sleep. Don't seem to have any problems, but that seems to work well in terms of, you know, when you get to that stage where you're like, what can I pick on?
Yeah, no,
I find that's kind of,
you should be maybe having something to eat there as well, maybe a few nuts or something, just to keep your blood sugar level a bit more stable.
Some nuts, yeah.
You don't like that. Also, but something just to, but I think that's absolutely fine. I think that's absolutely fine. I think it's finding something that works for you. That's really what it is. It's not denying yourself. There is always an alternative. That's the point. There's always an alternative, and it's finding what that alternative might be, and allowing yourself. I am a big fan of having treats. I think everybody needs to have treats. And treats, you know, if you're having treats 5 times a day, that's not a treat anymore. That's a complete habit, obviously. So the treats it's how you treat yourself, but it's not denying yourself the whole time. I think it's, you know, it's soul destroying, and the stress. And I have seen people not, you know, their IVF's not working because their stress levels are too high, because they're actually denying themselves everything. Letting go a little bit is way more healthy.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, I love that. That Jersey milk, by the way, is delicious.
Is it? I had it in my
we had it in our coffees this morning, and I must admit, it did taste a bit more creamy.
I think it looks
like the creme de la creme.
Does it make any difference, by the way, or is it too early to know?
I only had this first morning I've had it, so
first morning I've had it. It'll be interesting to see. I mean, as I say, you know, some people do find it, and I've spoken to people who find that it really makes a lot of difference. But it's personal, isn't it? But you know,
yeah, it'd be interesting.
I've been having mine. I didn't have it over the weekend, but I've had it every other day around the weekend. But I've not noticed anything yet. But it's gorgeous. I love it. I feel very bougie with my gold top milk.
But it's amazing. You can find it everywhere, can't you?
Yeah, I got the I got it off Ocado to start with, and then I found it in Aldi yesterday. And I was like, oh, accessible.
I saw it in Aldi the other day. Yeah, absolutely. Why not?
Brilliant. Okay, thank you, Isabelle.
If you would like to book a free one-to-one fertility product consultation, you can book at zitawest.com/book. You can use code FDP10, that's FDP10, for 10% off site-wide.
Dilemma of the week. We have been trying for a baby for over a year now, and every month feels heavier than the last. Totally get that. Watching friends get pregnant accidentally or announce babies so easily has started to make me panic that we're running out of time. I'm 29 and my partner is 31. I hate to be condescending, but you are so young.
Yeah.
I want just to seriously look into IVF now because I'm scared we'll regret wasting more years trying naturally. But my partner thinks we're jumping too far ahead and says we don't even know if we need IVF yet because we haven't had full fertility testing done. I've had bloods from the GP and he had a semen analysis, which were all normal. He wants to keep trying naturally for another year before going down the medical route. Now we're stuck because I feel urgency every single month and he feels like we're letting fear take over the relationship. Should I push to get on a waiting list for IVF, or does my partner have a point? He has a point.
I think he has a point, yeah.
Like, listen back to the Zita episode we had a few weeks ago. You don't know you need IVF isn't the answer.
Yeah.
A lot of the time. You don't know, if you don't need it, there's no point. Look at me. 3 cycles down. No
And like
baby.
there's so many different lifestyle things that you can change and do if you're not doing them already that can always help. And
you are
you're
not running out of time.
Yeah, and
And you're not wasting a few more years trying actually. Like you're only done 1 year.
Yeah, and your partner's quite wise maybe about getting more full testing, because although I don't want to scaremonger, but although his semen have come back normal, you don't know if I'm at normal, you don't know if they're fragmented, you don't know all of this other stuff. Like
You've
there's
not had your
loads.
tubes checked, you might have a blocked tubes, that might be, and then IVF might be the answer, and then they'll put you on the waiting list, but you're not going to be getting on a waiting list until you've had those tests. And even if you try and go privately, they'll ask if you had those tests, and they probably recommend them anyway. So you'd be paying through the nose for something that, and also sometimes even with the lifestyle and supplement changes, you might get pregnant in the time you're waiting. The time is going to pass regardless. I would be saving that money for when you get what you can for free first, and spend the money on the areas you might need to spend it in the future if you're eligible for free IVF.
And Zita talked a lot about stress as well, didn't she? And it sounds like you're putting a lot of pressure on yourself.
You're putting a lot of pressure.
It's easier said than done. I know, like, to try and take the pressure off and try and de-stress your body, but that can also really help as well. And you never know, like, with implementing lifestyle changes, waiting for a bit, I don't think you need to rush for IVF just yet. But obviously,
I don't think anyone will let you do IVF just yet. If I'm honest, no decent doctor would be probably letting you go ahead with that. And I know it feels like everyone's moving around you, and like, the people are announcing babies. Their timeline is not your timeline. Like, that's like saying, oh, this person's just divorced their husband, like, oh, I better divorce mine, I must be due a second marriage. Like, people don't think like that. So why do we think like that when people, it's not just having babies, it's when people get engaged and married, you start questioning your own. I think we spoke about it a few weeks ago, you question your own timeline, don't you? But you cannot compare yourself to other people.
No, definitely not. No, comparison is the thief of joy.
Yeah, so I would really try and not let this take over your life, and take some time for yourself to really put yourself first.
Yeah, and just keep communicating to your partner as well. And
100%.
Yeah, good luck.
Good luck. That's all for this week, guys. We will be back on Tuesday with our usual episode. So do remember to give us a like, follow, subscribe, rate, review, YouTube.
Share our Instagram.
Share us. Tell a friend. Tell your fertility clinic. When you go to fertility clinic, say, stand up in the waiting room and go, anyone had fertility diaries?
Well, I was speaking to a lady at my class the other day, and she hasn't actually listened, but she asked me how the podcast was doing. But she did say that she is an aesthetics nurse. She actually said she would signpost. She has some clients that come in, and she would happily recommend the podcast to them and stuff.
Without
she actually asked if we had a poster. She asked if we had a poster to stick up.
When I was at that fertility show, quite a few people asked if I had a card, and I was like, oh, no.
Yeah, well, she said you should have a poster.
Promotional tools.
You just come in and talk
anything
to them.
you do to support us, guys, we always really, really appreciate. Tag us where you're listening. We haven't had that in a while either. We love being tagged where people are listening. And we will see you all on Tuesday. Have a lovely weekend. Bye, guys.
Bye.